Could it just be concept and not?
I got it.
Right, that's where it's going to be a little more difficult. I mean, the concepts, the discussion, the public part, but it does simply say the negotiations will be private. So again, we're negotiating with you, and we can say, oh, you know, he's bidding $2. Really, he might only bid $3, but we're trying to get you to $4.
Like the redacted stuff.
Or whatever the numbers are.
Well, and it's interesting that, if I might, because Commissioner Ambrose also. I remember when we were negotiating on the power stuff that there was huge angst among us and the public that, well, what do you mean that the different things are redacted and that the public can't see these offers? And that was a much bigger deal than these. I think there needs to be a mechanism. I understand that maybe the dollar amounts might be redacted out.
I know when it comes to you, you'll have all that. You will have all that. I'm just saying, let's assume that the negotiations are ongoing with 3 parties. You don't want party number 1 to know what party number 2's bid is because, you know, you undercut your negotiating strategy.
I understand that. So what I'm suggesting is let's make a commitment that the concept, these ideas that we're trying to get, be separated from the financial part of it, what they want to charge for their ideas. I perfectly get that we don't want to publicly discuss the financial amount, but I think the public wants to know what is it that's being proposed. And I'm
trying to think through that because the invitation's already out on the street. So people already have this out there, and presumably, hopefully somebody's working on it already to meet the deadline of 2 weeks from now.
This agenda item is to assign somebody to.
Yeah, that's all it is.
That's what the agenda is. So let's move back to the agenda item. I'll entertain a motion. Commissioner Zerby?
I'd like to make a motion, and we have to stick with one person.
If you have 2 commissioners, then you also trip yourself up, guys.
Right, that's what I was going to say.
A lot of thought's been put in this, and this is a process. We didn't make this up. This is by statute.
Commissioner Zerby?
There's 2 of you have expressed, or maybe even 3, expressed interest in wanting to be on there. So I guess, was that arm wrestle?
Me too.
So I think, you have to see who's got maybe some background. I think, we've heard different backgrounds. So I'd still like to hear if you all are interested. I wanted to make a motion of somebody that has a background in leasing, and really the major part of this is the leasing part and the structure of it. I understand from a business standpoint, but we're supposed to get these proposals in terms of how they're going to use the space and create the revenue from it for lease, right? I mean, they're not going to own the building, they're not going to own the space. It's basically that structure.
There'll be leases similar fashion to the existing tenants.
With discussions on who maintains what and everything else to go along with it. Right? So it's partly even property management as well.
It actually depends on if it's possible. Again, we left it as open-ended as possible. You could have 3 separate leases.
I don't want to step into this one.
Me either.
The pool is winnowing. I certainly recognize that Commissioner Amoroso has considerably more business experience than my pretty much 0. But I have worked for quite a length of time for a state agency, and we had contracts, we had to write proposals, and we had to write hard on the proposals and all that sort of on the contracts. So I have had experience with that, whether that's relevant or not, but I would be interested in volunteering for it as well.
Yeah. Vice Mayor? It seems like everyone's making their pitch, so I'm giving you another chance.
Well, look, we need to do something with this beachfront property. We need to get that space leased up. I agree. And we just hang it out there for 2 years, and I don't know why you know, Snitkin and Company, Henderson Car never brought us somebody. I don't know why that is. I never believed from day one that it was impossible or improbable that we could do something with the top floor. You know, so from that perspective, and when I start down this path of conversation, I'm thinking, well, yeah, I should do this because I've been through this whole process. But, you know, we need to do something. We need to do something relatively soon, but it has to be responsible. It has to be credible. And it has to be something that is going to bring value, not just in terms of dollars, but in terms of value to the community. And that's the most important thing we need to consider.
Agreed.
So,
Great. I'll entertain a motion.
Can I move to put myself on? I don't think, that seems a little unseemly, doesn't it?
You can. How do you word that?
I don't know, I have no idea.
I moved myself.
There'll be none of that.
Well, I move to volunteer.
Okay, do I have a second?
That come out my nose.
Motion fails for lack of a second.
We'll try again.
Anyone else?
Come on, Andy, I moved, you can move.
I'm gonna go out and take a break. I'll let you figure it out for yourselves, gentlemen.
Come on, somebody better do something.
Motion fails, we've got no motions. We're gonna have to pick this up at another time then. No one's making motions. We'll have to come back to this and vote on it again. It'll be unfinished business. Okay?
I wrote a number down between 1 and 10.
That's what they do on Big Brother. Pick a number between 500 and 672. Okay? Alright, we've got no motion. We've got no motion, so no cards.
But I do want to say, from the public,
Quiet in the chambers. Actually, you're not allowed to.
yes, there is no transparency with this commission. Why is it always?
Excuse me, thank you very much. I'm sorry, Ms. Sharp. I'm sorry, thank you. All right, we're moving on to item F, contract with Ackerman. Who moved this item off the consent agenda?
I did.
You want us to open up then,
Sure.
Vice Mayor?
Well, can we make sure they're here if we haven't scared them off yet?
Yeah.
Oh, they've got popcorn.